And what if I told you that often, the deepest pain doesn't come from screams, but from silence? Claire grew up without her mother's affection, while Emily spent years trying to be seen in a world that seemed to ignore her. The absence of love and attention left scars that shaped their choices, their relationships, and even how they saw themselves. But from those wounds came lessons powerful enough to change the way you view life. Today, we'll explore 10 powerful lessons Claire and Emily taught us, and the last one is so strong it could completely transform how you understand the meaning of your own journey. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of two women, mother and daughter. A bond marked by abuse, silence, mistakes. But also by a love that, even broken, never fully disappeared. This is the story of how trauma passes from one generation to the next. And how, even so, healing can begin. It all starts with Claire, the daughter of a teenage mother who emotionally abandoned her early on. By age 13, she was already experiencing neglect. At 17, she ran away with a man who promised protection, but delivered only violence. Her brother was imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit, and she carried the guilt for years, as if she had failed to save him. She grew up believing love was the same as pain. That caring meant losing herself. That survival was the most someone like her could hope for. Claire had a daughter, Emily. She wanted to be different. But the patterns repeated. She married a controlling man. She suffered abuse. After losing one pregnancy and facing complications in another, she was forcibly admitted to a psychiatric hospital, labeled unstable when in truth, she was simply desperate. It was there, in isolation, that she began to write. Not to friends. Not as therapy. But to death row inmates. Letters that never got replies. And each word was a cry, I exist. I am human. I deserve to be seen. It was at rock bottom that she finally understood. Love doesn't need to be perfect to save you. It just needs to exist. Have you ever felt the lack of love or attention weigh as heavily as an invisible wound, like Claire and Emily did? Maybe at some point in your life, you've also longed to be seen, heard, or loved, but circumstances made it impossible. Share in the comments. Your story might inspire others to find strength and hope. This channel is new. Help us grow on YouTube, subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. And in a moment, you'll discover the 10 lessons that emerged from the pain and absences that shaped their lives. Lessons born from the lack of love, the search for recognition, and difficult choices, lessons that can transform how you face your own wounds and challenges. With Emily, it seemed like the cycle would continue. As a teenager, she got involved with someone toxic. She temporarily lost custody of her daughter. She felt like she had failed. But Emily, despite her wounds, did something Claire never imagined. She came back. Not to forgive right away. But to say, I see you. I see your pain. And I don't want to repeat this. This isn't just the story of a mother and daughter. It's about how trauma travels in silence, in voices that don't scream, in eyes that avoid the mirror, in actions that repeat what should never be repeated. The mother wasn't a hero. The daughter isn't a savior. But both were brave. The mother, for not giving up on love. Emily, for not giving up on the truth. Love doesn't heal everything. But it builds a bridge. Even when a family is broken. Even when mistakes feel bigger than forgiveness. This bond, fragile, imperfect, persistent, is what keeps hope alive. Because in the end, Claire loved. And Emily chose to believe in that. And sometimes, that's all it takes. If you saw yourself in this story, comment. I'm breaking the cycle, or my love endures too. Now, let's explore together the 10 lessons Claire and Emily discovered amid emotional absence, the search for recognition, and the choices that shaped their lives. And the last one, often forgotten, might be the true secret to overcoming any challenge, at any stage of life. 1. Claire grew up without her mother's affection and learned early to survive on her own. This absence revealed that neglect can wound as deeply as outright violence. The lack of presence weighs more than the lack of words. Those forgotten at the beginning of life spend years trying to prove they deserve to be seen. The lesson is this: be emotionally present for the people you love, even through small, simple gestures of attention. 2. A promise of protection can hide imprisonment. When Claire ran away from home believing in love and care, she found only abuse and pain. True protection never comes with control. Not every outstretched hand is there to save, some just change the shape of the chain. The takeaway: be wary of easy promises. Build relationships based on consistent actions, not just words. 3. Guilt can imprison more than steel bars. Claire carried her brother's unjust imprisonment as her own personal failure. Releasing guilt creates space to truly live in the present. Invented guilt is a prison whose key has always been in our hands. The lesson is this: recognize the limits of your responsibility. Don't carry burdens that were never yours to bear. 4. Unbroken patterns always return. Even wanting to be different, Claire repeated the cycle in an abusive marriage. Without awareness, the past always repeats itself. What is not faced in the past returns disguised in the present. The takeaway: seek self-awareness, and if possible, therapeutic help. Breaking patterns requires both awareness and support. 5. Rock bottom can be a new beginning. Forced into hospitalization, Claire found in writing a way to survive. The lowest point can also be a starting point. When everything seems lost, even silence can become a voice. The lesson is this: transform pain into expression. Writing, speaking, or creating can open new paths. 6. Imperfect love can still save you. Through unanswered letters and her bond with Emily, Claire discovered that love doesn't need to be perfect. Sincere love weighs more than perfection. True love isn't flawless, it's persistent. The takeaway: value small gestures. Showing care, even imperfectly, holds transformative power. 7. Returning is an act of courage. Emily returned to her mother, choosing not to repeat the same mistakes. Coming back can be the first step toward breaking cycles. Returning isn't weakness, it's the courage to choose differently. The lesson is this: face the pain. Reconnecting or starting over takes more courage than walking away. 8. Just enduring is greatness. Claire and Emily weren't perfect heroines, but they didn't give up. Not every victory is visible, but every act of endurance matters. To keep going when everyone expects you to break, that's already victory. The takeaway: practice resilience. Remember that small daily steps forward are acts of resistance. 9. Hope is the last bridge. Despite their failures, the bond between mother and daughter remained alive. Hope is fragile, but it can hold more than we realize. Hope is the bridge that stands even when everything around it collapses. The lesson is this: protect hope in your relationships, even in the darkest moments. 10. The power of love and gratitude. Claire grew up without her mother's affection. Emily searched for recognition in places that never brought her peace. Both proved that the absence of love can wound as deeply as pain itself. But the truth is, even when life seems to deny tenderness and attention, there's still a path to healing, learning to love, and to be grateful. Love doesn't have to come only from others, it can begin within you. And gratitude is the daily practice of seeing value, even in what little you have. Just as Claire and Emily could have done to ease the scars of their past, you too can turn wounds into strength by recognizing that every lived moment carries a lesson. No matter your age or circumstances, never underestimate the power of being grateful for what you have and for what you've already lived through. Love gives meaning to the journey, and gratitude creates space to see beauty even in the deepest shadows. 4 phrases to reflect on with gratitude. 1. I'm grateful simply for the breath in my lungs, and for another chance today. 2. I'm thankful even for the absences, because they taught me to value presence. 3. The love I give returns to me as peace and purpose. 4. Every moment is a gift, and I choose to see its beauty with gratitude. These practices are scientifically proven. A study conducted by the journal Frontiers in Psychology, 2015, confirms that gratitude significantly improves emotional well-being, reduces symptoms of depression, and strengthens resilience. If you've made it this far, congratulations. That shows you're committed to learning from real-life wisdom and building a stronger mind to face any challenge. Throughout Claire and Emily's journey, we've seen simple but transformative lessons. The absence of love can wound as deeply as visible pain. Seeking recognition in the wrong places only deepens the scars, but healing is still possible, through courage, gratitude, and authenticity. Claire endured the loneliness of maternal neglect. Emily lived with the constant feeling of not being enough. Their stories are hard, yet they reveal universal truths. Even among scars, it's still possible to find inner clarity, resilience, and strength to write a new chapter. The question is, are you willing to apply these lessons and cultivate love and gratitude to live your best years, with balance, purpose, and joy? This channel is new, and it was created to inspire you to find courage, self-awareness, and inner freedom. Subscribe, share, and stay with us on this journey.